Welcome to Karma's Harvest. The predator was behind bars, but the trap he built was still live, and it was hungrier than ever. Liora thought the nightmare ended the moment the handcuffs clicked around Theron's wrists. But the digital ghost he left behind was about to reveal a much larger monster hiding in plain sight. What do you do when the person offering you a hand up is actually the one pushing you toward the edge? She had survived the senior who tried to break her, but now she had to face the system that protected him. Have you ever realized that the safety net beneath you was actually a web designed to keep you silent? The office was eerily quiet the morning after Theron's arrest. The empty chair at the senior desk felt like a warning, not a victory. Liora spent the early hours combing through the wreckage of the server, trying to stabilize the firm's legitimate accounts. That's when she founded a secondary encryption layer that Theron's virus hadn't just exposed, but had begun to bypass. There was a second digital signature attached to the largest embezzled sums, one that didn't belong to an accountant. It belonged to Marcus, the chief financial officer, and the man who had personally signed Liora's offer letter. Before Liora could even process the discovery, the intercom buzzed. Marcus wanted to see her in the corner office. The walk down the hallway felt miles long. When she entered, the room was bathed in golden morning light, looking every bit like the pinnacle of corporate success. Marcus didn't look like a criminal. He looked like a worried father. He spoke of protecting the firm's reputation and the unfortunate instability Theron had caused. Then he pushed a thick folder across the desk. It wasn't an indictment, it was a promotion to senior lead, complete with a signing bonus that could pay off Liora's student loans twice over. The only condition was simple. She had to use her admin access to clean up the remaining corrupted files, the very files that contained Marcus's signature. We don't want the authorities to get the wrong idea about how deep this goes. Liora, Marcus said, his voice as smooth as silk. 1,300 employees rely on this company. If the board sees those signatures, we all lose our jobs. Be a hero. Save the company. This was the empathy point, the moment where Liora felt the crushing weight of responsibility. If she stayed silent, she was rich and safe. If she spoke, she was a whistleblower at a collapsed firm. But as Liora looked at Marcus, she remembered the core logic of the virus Theron had created. It was programmed to detect internal tampering. The small twist happened when Liora placed her laptop on Marcus's desk. She didn't open the cleanup tool. Instead, she opened the virus's source code. "I can't delete them, Marcus," she whispered. The virus Theron wrote, "It's self-evolving. It views any attempt to modify the evidence as a new attack." Marcus scoffed, his facade of kindness cracking. He grabbed her laptop, believing his own high-level clearance would override the security. He began to type frantically, attempting to force delete the logs that linked him to the stolen millions. The big karma hit in a way no one expected. Theron had built the virus to be a scorched earth weapon. The moment Marcus entered his executive override code to delete the evidence, he triggered the final stage of the virus, the public disclosure protocol. Suddenly, every television screen in the lobby, every computer monitor on all 12 floors, and every tablet in the company's satellite offices began to flicker. It wasn't a static image. It was a live screen share of Marcus's desktop. The entire company watched in real time as their CFO desperately tried to erase his own crimes. The silence in the office was replaced by the collective gasp of hundreds of employees. Marcus froze, staring at the screen as the delete failed. Messages popped up like digital tombstones. Below the error messages, the virus began to scroll the full list of Marcus's offshore accounts, synced perfectly with the company's missing pension funds. He had tried to buy Liora's silence with a fraction of the money. He had stolen from the very people who worked for him. The man who tried to save the company had just broadcasted his own confession to the world. As the board of directors stormed toward the office, and the sirens returned for a second day, Liora walked out of the glass doors. She didn't take the bonus and she didn't take the promotion. She took something much more valuable, her integrity. The harvest had been brutal, clearing out the rot from the top down. Theron's jealousy had started the fire, but it was Marcus's greed that provided the fuel that burned the house down. But as the dust settles, a new shadow is forming. The firm is bankrupt, and the hero, Liora, is now being sued by the investors for inciting the digital collapse. Is the whistleblower ever truly safe? Or is the final harvest always the one that takes the most from us? Someone is watching Liora from a black car outside her apartment, and they aren't the police. The story of the digital fallout is just beginning. What happens when the people you expose have friends in even higher places? Join us for the next chapter of Karma's Harvest. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next seeds being planted are for a much darker season.